Y'all, it is 5 p.m. and you're watching the trades. We're just getting warmed up, coming to you live from Instagram, B-Boy Network, and the Profowon channel. We have a really good show. As we wait, let me know where y'all from. Let me know what city, state, and or country, and if you represent a crew, let me know right here. If you want to interact with the chat, you can't interact on Instagram, but you can interact on YouTube. We're going to start the show in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We're going to be answering a lot of questions today. We got Lowell, Massachusetts. Imani, a real professional. MA in the house. San Diego in the house. Another San Diego in the house. Join the chat. We're going to start in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. The trades, tell a friend. Live on YouTube, B-Boy Network. Profowon channel on YouTube and my Instagram. Right. Let's start the countdown. This video has been brought to you by Break Connect. Go to the website and register. Check out what they have to offer at Break Connect. Yo, what's up? This is Shadow Rock and Profowon of the Floor Gangs and Knuckleneck Tribe, and you're watching The Trades, a show about breaking, hip hop, and the business of. 1 second. How's everyone doing? Yo, thanks for tuning in. Got a really important show. If you want to know, you can follow me on Instagram at PROFO_FLGZ. So the last time I was here live on YouTube was I had an interview with Mr. Freeze and Jay Soul from BTR Breaking. He talked about his event that happened last weekend. And as well as we talk about this show and with the subject of this show, Jay Soul from BTR Breaking is part of the topic at hand. But before we do that, I need to clean house before I introduce our guests. Again, check out the Profowon channel. You can see a lot. This is the 105th episode on YouTube. I have way more and I need to get them translated into from Facebook Live to YouTube because I saw on Facebook in 30 days they're about to delete all the lives that were on there, so I have to like transfer that whole catalog to YouTube, and I'm on Spotify as well. So 100 episodes right here on YouTube. You can check that out with interviews of B-Boy Sasa, the first B-Boy Sasa, track 2, Dancing Doug, Quick Step, uh, my other channel with Little Caesar. Yo, I am documenting history, and today is not, today is a day of history as well. So let me clean house real quick. First of all, 89% of you are not subscribed, but you are lurking. You are definitely lurking. And the whole thing is that thank you for lurking and bringing my viewership up. But if we want significant change in this channel, please subscribe. You know why you can subscribe? You know how help me out? Just by subscribing, you just help the algorithm. Like this video. Like if you like this video, subscriptions go up, budget starts getting good here on YouTube, then I'll get to like do cool stuff like maybe fly out somewhere and interview someone in person versus just remotely. These are some of the things that you can help out. Again, if you're not subscribed, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and ring the bell. Click the bell for notifications if you like content like this. All right. That being said, okay. So, um, this was like actually, this was kind of like last minute. So I had a discussion with, it actually was like, uh, Jay Soul from BTR Breaking. He hit me up and he was asking about like, look, Aeronautics doing the AAU. It's like really, like, I mean, they have basically been around forever, right? Like, one of the people I work with at the San Francisco Unified School District, he was in the Olympics as far as Taekwondo 20 years ago, and he talked about like, hey, I was in the Taekwondo team on for the AAU. It's like, oh, word. So it's something that's been established. They have all these sports going on for the youth. So when I heard Aeronetic got involved, Jade Soul was like, what do you think? I was like, I think it's a good opportunity. So like finally we could have some type of like infrastructure because we were talking like on the trades on this channel, Profowon channel, I had a show with Raul the Tool from Elephant Graveyard, DJ Renegade, Amjad, Cross One, and Steve Graham. And we talked about because what happened with the Olympics and the WDSF, should we even have a a governing body? This here is kind of like what we're talking about, but just as it's more for the youth. But I think this is, for me, in my opinion, I think this is a good thing as far as seeing how this goes as far as creating infrastructure, especially what's going on recently. Like the breaking world is kind of crazy right now. Don't want to get too into that, but creating safe spaces. Like for instance, I'm going to bring it up later. Like, for instance, I did pay my fee to be a coach, and they did, a background check on me. You know what I'm saying? And these are some of the things that should we have this outside of working with kids? Obviously, we're working with kids. This is needed. But some of the questions that are going to be brought up in the show is like, bringing that infrastructure into more of the adult, like, should we create a league? These are the questions that we need to be answered. So without further ado, we have the chair people of Breaking AAU. We have Sweet Lou and Aeronetic. How y'all doing?
What's up, man? Thanks for having us.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, dude. I mean, this is something okay, here's the main thing. One of the reasons why I want to do the show is because we didn't have this with the WDSF. We didn't have like town meetings. And if they did, it wasn't as public as this. And I think let's start becoming a little bit more public where we're more interactive so people can have their concern, have their, ask their questions and state their concerns in a more real-time interactive way. And I know, I mean, maybe this is just ambitious, but again, this is a day one for us to kind of do this. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. So first of all, so I just heard it on social media. Hey, AAU, the Breaking's part of AAU. I was like, wait, what? And let's start with aeronetic because you've been doing the youth breaking league for how long now?
We're going on, let's see, end of 2021, so over 3 years now.
3 years. And then did you, Sweetly, you had your own league going on too in the East
No,
Coast?
I was working with Glide and the KBL. No, he
Okay,
started that.
KBL. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, KBL. How long has KBL been going on? And we're gonna have Glide a little bit later on. I know he's running a little late. He's teaching.
I'll let Glide tell the story on the startup of KBL because I think there was something prior to KBL that inspired him too.
Okay,
But
word,
many years.
word. So let's start with aeronetic then. So So how did this all? Well, first of all, how did the youth breaking league come about for you?
So the youth breaking championship, it started as a youth breaking conference. This was during COVID. It was 2021, and I was in Canada at the time with
Okay,
my friend, my wife now. But I was there for 2 years, and I was just thinking, man, when I go back to San Diego, like, what can I create? I already had Culture of Four,
okay, yeah,
which was
right.
a great event, but I was like, we got to build something for the youth. I was teaching on Zoom during the time because of COVID, and I had a lot of kids here in San Diego. But just for myself, teaching for 15 plus years, like, I've lost so many students. I'm sure you yourself, Profo, you've been in the game for a long time. You probably lost hella students too as well. And that's
Yeah,
because as soon as it gets to like middle school or that high school level, there's nothing for them for breaking. They get into these other sports that have a lot of structure and a good pathway for them to, like, get scholarships in and succeed in, pretty much. And breaking is just, we go to these jams, and there's like these one-off jams. Parents go, grandparents try to go, but it's like not the right setting for them, and it kind of just steers them away. We got
hmm
8-hour jams. They're sitting on the floor. I seen like grandmas like 70 years old on the floor struggling to get up because that's how she
right,
had to watch her grandson or granddaughter. And
right,
things like this kind of hit me, and I was like, we got to change the narrative a little bit. And I think that really sparked the motivation to start the youth breaking conference. And the first two was just like a trial run. I was like, I just did it at the mall in a dance studio, did a conference, an all-day conference with different instructors, the panels. Then we had the battle, right?
right,
But I wanted to, like education for me, and gaining knowledge from people who have a lot of experience, pioneers, veterans, who are still alive today. Like, it's dope to learn from them. And I want the kids to know that, like, yeah, you have your coaches, but you can still open your mind and get insight from a lot of other people to apply it to what you learn, you know. So that drove the YBC, and then 2 years later we rebranded it to the Youth Breaking Championship, and we still had the conference, but now it got a little bigger, and we got the sponsorship from Jack in the Box and the Pro Breaking Tour, so we
right. Yeah.
across America, brought them all
Oh,
to,
sorry. My bad. My bad. I just wanted to play background, but this is a little bit footage from it.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
So we did. That was the first year where we had our first national championship. We had 8 qualifiers, and then we flew them all out to San Diego here with their parents as well. We did it. You were here, so you
Oh
got
yeah.
to experience that, right? We had
Yes. Yeah. Good
like a
times.
history
Yeah.
workshop, which was like very important for kids to like really learn your history. That's something that I always tell my students, like, you got to learn your history as well. Like, we can teach you all these moves, but it's always not about the moves. Is what the knowledge that comes from that move, and then how you're gonna apply it to your dance.
Word.
So that's really dope for you to come out for. And this was
Yeah,
like
man.
the first, I guess, this event was like the first true national championship for youth events.
Yeah, man. It was dope, man. I mean, yeah, I thought that what was different, it was like it wasn't just a competition, but it was a camp too. Like, yeah, different people do different workshops, and then they had, Aaron brought me to just do kind of like a timeline of breaking, right? And like within 1 hour. But it was still really cool because then it was funny to have like adults that have been breaking for a long time learn something too. They're like, wait, what the hell? Really? I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah. Because that's just my kick, right? Like my kick is like, who was the first guy to do a turtle, guys? Let's look into it. You know what I'm saying? So how did as we wait for Glide, how did the AAU get involved? Because like you were doing this for a while, as far as like, yeah, 2 or 3 years, right? How
Mhm.
did it finally transition to that? Especially like, after like a lot of people are really upset in the breaking community. That is, are upset about kind of what happened at the Olympics, right? Like this is not necessarily the fault of us. It was just like the media took Vigo ray guns and just went with it. But a lot of people were just still like kind of didn't even know what was going on. They were just all of a sudden it was kind of present, even though like people were talking about for a long time, like, hey, these are the qualifiers. They're happening around the country. Um, how did that transition happen to like even at that when like it was kind of it seemed like it was like kind of on a negative note from the outside in? How did they AAU still get involved even though they're I mean this is just from us like negative press I guess like
I think Lou could elaborate because he's the one who actually brought it to the table, so he can dig.
okay word. All right, Lou,
So
let's hear the story.
2022, one of Glide's friends named Gio, he's part of AAU hip hop.
Oh word.
He had Glide Up. I'm gonna give you the backstory. He had Glide Up. There was this ISF event going down in Normandy, France, and Glide
Okay.
couldn't go that year. But one of his students, Swazi, and I think you guys know Swazi.
Yep.
He's a future star of our breaking culture and community. He was gonna go with his parent, and they needed a coach to go, and this was like an AAU kind of invited event for an international thing, in short. So I go with Swazi and his mom, and I'm like a coach. I'm like I have the AAU, and AAU is big even for me. Like I have an athletic background, baseball and wrestling. I was pretty good at wrestling. I don't want to say too much about what I did, but AAU, the brand, I was like, there's someone I'm able to be a coach for AAU. One, that's amazing in itself, but then it's also to like represent a breaker overseas. It was just a lot, And around this time,
Right.
to kind of work closely with the group that was like in WDSF for the Olympics. So I was like, this is fly. Like can also go to the youth, and that's where the important layer of the breaking is. It started with them, and it should be like more should be the attention should be towards the youth. So I go to this event, and I'm like blown away by the structure that's there for the kids. They have their pictures taken. There's a system for them. There's order. There's start time. There's warm up time. There's direction. There's a break. There's a timetable. It's followed. It was like usually I see this because I have hands in with the tour and a lot of the bigger events such as like Freestyle Session or even Outbreak Europe or all these events that you can tell it's like there's a lot of experience to the organization side of it. And I saw this really similar thing to the youth, and I was like, this is dope. So when I came back, I'm like, yo, Glide, this could be something dope. AAU could be something really big for us. There's a lot to learn there, and to like try and mirror a lot of these sports, a lot of the classic sports has been around for a long time. They're there for a reason. They're doing something right to have all these members and all these support. So I had brought up to Glide, and Glide's like, yeah, he was like, I think I'm down, I'm interested. So we started talking with AAU, and again, this was 2022, and we took a break from that due to everything with the Olympics and the tour on my behalf as well. We took a good amount of time off the table, but there were programs that were being built for a unification of the United States. This was even before the AAU had came to the picture. But after the Olympics, I had built a small relationship with Aeronetic. Cross One, shout out to Cross. He's like, dude, I see what you're trying to do with the youth. I see how you're trying to like bring everyone together. Aeronetics is doing this thing with the YBC. Like, how do you feel about like, getting him closer? And I had saw that there was a room for improvement or like a bridge that needed to happen between the youth and the adults. Like there were almost no events where it was catered to just the youth where the pro adults went, or a pro event for the adults where the kids go and also got like the same amount of attention. So, we thought the solution would be, let's do some of these YBC events at Pro Breaking Tour events. So both of the communities are there organically. It's not being forced. It's just like you guys are going to be in the same building at the same time. And we just saw magic happen. They're ciphering amongst one another. So we were in Texas. Aeronetic says this story a lot now too. Like Glide and I started to kind of resume the conversations about AAU. We started to think about this, and Aeronetic was like, wait, you guys have AAU on the call? Like, Lou, whatever you do, like get me on, And I just seeing like his drive, his attention to detail, his relationships for the youth, and we just like, we need an army to get something this big of a vision to work, but we got to start with a team. And we got on, we Aeronetic, Glide and I, we got on a call with AAU people, and the rest is like history. You know, this is where we are now. So that's kind of long story short of how we got to where we are. But this was before Olympics, before any of the noise or before any of the successes from it all. This was already like in the works.
Right. All right. And now into the chat we got Kid Glide. See, I told you, man, you
Yeah.
make it. I told you, man.
What up?
Yeah. So we had Aeronautics side on it when he with the Youth Breaking League. We had Sweet Lou talk about the connection to AAU. Let's talk about you had your kind of like your league in the East Coast, and that was like part of the puzzle too. Let's hear a little bit about that. How you put that together?
Wow. The Kids Breaking League. Well, I put that together a while back. It was 2016. Basically, I was teaching at dance studios all the time, and they would always just just end in a recital. So I would lose a lot of kids that would just come. They didn't, it wasn't fun because like I wouldn't really didn't get to teach them. I had to worry about the recital. You know what I'm saying? And practicing once a week wasn't really pushing the kids. So what we did was everybody in dynamic at that time was teaching at schools. So we were like, yo, let's get our kids to battle each other. And so we did it. The first time we did it, yo, it was crazy. Like the support of the parents, like that was the first time me seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I was grateful I had my dad to support me, but a lot of breakers that are our age didn't have that. They didn't have their parents supporting them, right? They had to like just go to jams by themselves. So seeing all these parents like really supporting their kids, like it was like a given. It was like, yo, we got to do this. So we did it every 3 months, and then later on we saw that other people were training and teaching. So we're like, yo, let's just open it up. And then one year I decided let's do a league. Heck, that sports have this, so let's do that for the kids. And we did it. And Sweet Lou was one of them. He loved it, man. Like, yo, the kids were looking forward to this. Like they were training, they were building friendships, they were building their own community, and that was our goal: was to one build sustainability for breakers
Right.
to keep the money within our culture, make money, have it circulate, people invest into them and who they are. And now you have in New York a lot of breaking programs. There's a lot of breaking programs happening. So yeah, and then Aeronautics killing it. So we all just got together. That's it.
Yeah. No. Like I was saying earlier before you jumped on, it was like I think a lot of adults were like, "Oh man, it's not successful in the Olympics like we thought it was gonna be. It's dead." But then here's the thing: is like you guys, it's showing that there's more kid events, or at least categories in events now. This is the first time ever, really, like officially. Like kids have always been breaking, but now you see parents, like for instance, you'll hear about events where their parents are tailgating outside. You know what I'm saying? Like that's never happened. Like you know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
like some of them will tailgate out in front of freestyle session, or like I went to one event in Arizona and it was like that. Like the parents are just like, we're gonna put a hibachi right here, start barbecuing, and like, oh yeah, who you got and this and that. I was like, whoa, this is never happened. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's not now that I feel like in the next few years it's not going to be the soccer mom, and I'm sure you already have it. Is the dance mom with the dance dad? Like, why did my kid lose? And blah blah blah. What's up with the judges? Like,
It's already getting there, yo. It's already getting there, man. The break off,
Every week.
we're at that point.
yeah, no, and it's
Yeah.
insane to
No.
me because this has never happened before. It'd be like, like you said, Glad, your parents were, or you had a parent that supported you. We were just like, what are you doing? Like most of the parents, like,
Yeah.
what is that? Right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Nobody saw any future to it, but now these parents, they just are happy that their kids. One, it was crazy that we get kids that just for anybody that's interested in breaking, they just have a lot of
Yeah.
energy, right? So I know that right there helps the parents. They're like, oh, thank you, take my child. Some reason I get in New York, yo, we get like kids that are just like, let's go, and I was like, what the hell, Because I have a program that's
Yeah,
for
yeah.
graffiti, and those kids are different.
That's dope though.
So
So you don't just stop at breaking either,
nah,
huh? So
man.
you have what you call it too, right? You have a full hip hop program.
Yeah, man. Hip hop is a way for everybody to express themselves. I don't really push that. Oh, breaking is the only way. Like people need something to express themselves, and breaking and hip hop and all the elements are a way to do that. So this is what we do, man. There's kids that would love this, and as you can see, that there's kids
Mhm.
all over. We're just trying to we're trying to catch up to the other countries, man. They've been doing
Yeah,
it for
that's
a
very
long
true.
time.
Very
Right
true.
now,
Very true.
this this is what the AAU is trying to do, is to give everybody that platform, and in like 5-10 years, man. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
sooner. We'll be up there, like a lot of
Yeah.
talent.
I mean, and that's one thing, like, so I just got my card, I just got approved and all that type of stuff. Um, and then when I talked to Aaron a month ago, and I didn't really jump on board right away because I mean, I've been in my program for about, since April last year, slowly building it up. So, and I had other stuff going on, so I didn't necessarily fill out my application. I did that. I wanted to make sure I did that, and then when I hollered at Aeronetic, he was like, "Yeah, this summer's already Junior Olympics." I was like, "Wait, what?" Like I was like, so, like, and then even like shout out to J Rock and Precise because I'm working with them this weekend for Northern Cali, so I'm helping out with that, and it's just like almost like, whoa, we landed with the feet running, huh? We're just going. Like for me, I'm more like next year for the Youth Olympics. Cool, I can get them ready. But this was just like this summer. Let's go qualifiers, and I'm gonna bring that up again. That like like a lot. What you guys did in the last what? How long? Like at least in the last 2 months, people jumped on board right away. I'm assuming.
It's
Yeah,
it's been wild.
Yo,
we
I mean, we've been spreading the word, So, but as soon as we told everybody what's up, like people, like some people, just like your reaction, they were like, "Yeah, it's too short notice," and we understand. We just wanted to see what we
Right.
can do. But
Yeah.
look how many
Yeah.
leagues we got. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
and
Like,
I was yeah.
imagine next
No.
year. Imagine
Yeah.
next year,
That's
bro.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Bro, I actually was talking to my supervisors about this. It's like, eventually something like this is gonna happen. And this was literally like 3 months ago. Now it's freaking here. Like, like that's what's crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's here. He's like, weren't you just talking about this? I was like, yeah, but now it's actually here. Like, you know what I mean? Because I was like, why don't? Because like right now, this is the first time that there's schools of breaking. Like before, it was just kind of it was crews. Before it was like it kind of but it was still like it was still like no one was getting paid. It was just like we're gonna train this kid. He's probably gonna begin in our crew, and that's about it, right? Like whatever competition happens, it happens. You know what I mean? Let alone when I came up, it was like there was no competition. It was just like you're just in our crew, like that's it. And let's go to a jam. That's about it. Let's go to a party and battle, the guy from down the block. Versus like now, it's like you're talking about Swazi going overseas with Swazi. Like now we're talking about Junior Olympics this summer. You know what I mean? Can we uh can we talk about a little bit of how many kids registered and obviously there's different levels too, right? There's three different levels, right? There's
So before Aeronetic gets to the kids, I
Mhm.
would like to kind of share my uh, what my inspiration was to push the levels, and
Okay.
it came from my experience with Glide's Kids Breaking League. So I was a teacher in Connecticut, and same, my kids were training once a week. Sometimes I had like a little youth crew that we would just train for whenever there was a youth battle, which was not very common. But Glide was like, dude, this is the league. There's like levels to it. There's a beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and there's evaluation. So that already, again, I have a sporting background. I was like, that's cool because it will give the kids an incentive to get to the next level. And then you will see a kid that is the best at a level that's in reach. It's not like you're looking at the best in the country. You're looking at a kid that's, I'm a year or two away from that. And that's the next step. It won't be
Mm.
so discouraging. So I started to train my kids for these school versus school battles that will also help for recitals. It was like, yo, I'm getting 2-on-1, but now the kids are motivated, So the levels comes from the Kids Breaking League, and I saw it firsthand what it did to my kids in Connecticut, and I was like, if this is doing this in Connecticut, this could probably do this everywhere, and it worked. Like my kids were like, how do I make it to the team? Like it doesn't matter the level, And each school did it different, but I opened up an extra class for those that wanted to be a part of the league, so I can
Right.
like focus on them because they wanted to like take it a
Yeah.
little further. It wasn't just like, it's not recital. This is like, yo, we're gonna go battle our school versus their school, you know. And it was like
Yeah. Yeah.
so like the levels after the first year. And I always tell Glad, I'm like, yo, I love this. You know, we saw parents together, all that stuff. But to the levels, like I remember my I had like a couple beginner kids, like, what do I need to do to go intermediate? And I'm like,
Mm.
kids usually don't ask that. They follow the lead. They trust our leadership, you know. But the kid to be like, I want to get better. What are the steps to get to the next step? Not to become a pro, to get to the next step, you know. So that was very valuable. So when all this was coming about, I was like, Glide, how do you feel if we like, you know, share what you created and make that like for this, you know, for the whole AAU? Like, can we have your permission to do so? Because I feel it's incredibly valuable to have like levels, and sports have levels too, you know. There is the pro, like pro NBA players. You have LeBron who's 40 playing against kids that are freshly out of college, they're like 21, you know, and they're both pro. So there is that level, but to get there, you know, I think it's important to have all the levels. And you know, I was inspired from Glide, so I just wanted to.
Oh yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, okay, so you guys had that. So yeah, go ahead. As far whoever wants to take it to
like
lead.
touch base on that too. Like, you know, with breaking, we're always about like ages. We do a lot of age categories, right? But sometimes, you know, and there's only one category that's fully open to everybody. So
Yeah.
you could be the worst kid and you're battling the best kid. You just do a prelim and you go home, and that's all you get. That discourages you. One, two, the parents like, why do we just come here and spend $20 to be here for 5 minutes to watch you dance for 30 seconds and we're going home, you know? So I really like the skill division idea because you wouldn't see a yellow belt fight a black belt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that example already is just like breaking. If you're not the best breaker, you shouldn't go against the best kid. You could be a really good 7-year-old kid and battle against a good 16-year-old kid, right? Why would, you know, a 7-year-old kid that's really good battle against a 7-year-old that just started? You know,
Yeah.
it just makes sense. So the
Okay.
division was definitely hard to execute nationally, but I mean, we got it
Yeah.
done.
How did that go? Yeah. How did that go? By the way,
It's been
And
fun.
it's
because you had five
it's
different judges for each category, right?
what was that?
You had five different judges for each category, right?
So you had
How did
five.
that go?
We had five judges, and you know, that also plays into the part of a structure. We wanted everyone to be evaluated the same way. Not one school or one area has it with their homies, and it's like, if we're gonna do something unison, then we should all like apply it to the same format or the same journey there. So we had five evaluators all do a different criteria. So we had one for power moves, we had one for footwork, one for top rock, one for battle, one for freezes. Each breaker submitted videos to where the judges evaluated them to get them into their divisions.
How long did that process take?
It should have taken 4 months to do, and we did it in like 3 weeks.
And are we still going through that process as we talk?
No, it's pretty much over, you know, and it's not something that we did. It's, you know, we try to figure out the easiest way to accommodate everyone, because this came out of nowhere. So everyone is doing this on top of everything they were already doing, you know. So
Right.
it's like, how do we alleviate this request? Because it's not a small one from people. So no, it's pretty much over. Everyone submitted their videos. A lot of the names were spelled a little wrong, so we had to go back and rename.
That was
It's part of it, you know. So, but
that was
that's
definitely
pretty
the hardest part. So we have 300 kids nationally. You know, they each send 5 videos each. So that's
Yeah.
1,500 videos that we had to sort through. Correct
Wow.
every single title to make sure it's alphabetical order. So when the judges are, you know, all the top rock videos are alphabetical. So Eddie is over there just going one by one, evaluating in order. You know, so that was definitely the challenge that we had. It took us maybe 3-4 days, like full days, 24 hours, going in every day trying to fix these videos. It was definitely a pain, but it was you know, it's all for the kids. So we
I
made it happen.
mean, honestly, I mean, I know this doesn't sound like a lot, but then 300 kids in the U.S. is actually, to me, is very impressive. Actually, like to me, that's actually, I was like, wow, we have that many kids. Cool, because I honestly, I would have thought like maybe 100, right? Like with all those areas, I was like, maybe it'll be 100.
Dude, what
And
was
I was
your
like,
number?
300. Okay. I was talking to Eddie the
I
other day. He's like,
estimated.
oh my God, it won't stop.
I was like, at a soft landing because we did it fast, and there's a reason as to why it's all moving so fast right now. But I was like, we're gonna get 80 to 85, and both of them were like, nah, come on, what? And I was like, yo, I'm just telling you, like, that's my soft landing, So when Air was like, yo, we're at 200 already, I was like, no way. And they knew it. I was like, I was nervous because it's a tall ask to ask our community to come together this fast. And we're talking about their kids, that this is their bread and butter. This is their effort. These are their people that we're asking for them to trust us with a vision to become a part of it. But you asked the question earlier today, if I can answer, about like, why is it happening so fast? Like, this was in Kid Glide and my like hands for a couple years, and we were like, it's a big task to do, So we're like, how should we do it like this? It's the whole should we, and then he has his life, I had my life, things were going on, and then like this year with Aeronetic on board, we're like, yo, are we gonna wait a whole nother year? The most important part right now is to just start. We'll start, let everyone know exactly where we are, and let's just build it, learn. We need a year to reflect on and go, here are the areas we can do better. Here are the things that we need to do, But it's like, do we wait? And then the three of us procrastinated a little bit. We were like, in October, we were talking, and it's like, Aaronet's like, yo, guys, it's like late November. Are we doing this or not? We're like, people are down. Like, we need to. So, it's like not in a rush, but like, it's like mode, to just get things going.
I commend that.
Yeah, we were asked many times but it was always like, we need a decision now every year, and it was like crunch time. We're like, damn, bro, like. But I just want to give a shout out. Like, I thought Lou was one of the hardest working people in the world. You know what I'm saying, that I met. But your Era does not play. Straight up, man. It does not play because I'm telling you, this guy. I'm trying to catch up to these guys. These guys is nonstop machines. But yeah, we didn't want to wait another year. Like, we had to make it happen.
I commend.
And we're happy that we did.
Because as like the thing is, like, this is the hardest part about breaking, is that even though we are athletes, we are artists that are perfectionists that want it right. And it's like, even if we battle or compete and everyone thought that was dope, we're like, nah, I could have moved my foot a little bit more like that. You know what I'm saying? While like in athletics, yo, hey, we got the W, cool. I don't care how we got it. But as artists, we're like, well, you know what I mean? So I kind of like that, the fact that, when you told me, like, because I jumped on board. I was like, oh, y'all already? Okay. Like, I was like, man, I should have just jumped on earlier. I could have, like, been more help if I would have, you know what I mean? But I lagged. I'm like, I shouldn't have lagged. Right when I talked to Era, like, a month ago, I was like, I should have just signed my joint and just, pay my fee and then just start. You know what I mean? But I was at the same time, I don't know. Like, so now it's like, I'm glad that you guys, I like that. Like, crash or burn, let's go. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, let's just go, right? Let's make it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for this, I don't think this is like our first rodeo doing like big events. We
Right.
did 2 years of a national championship tour, so this is definitely harder because we're trying to get all the leaders, all the schools, all the coaches kind of unite. And that's been the most challenging part, is getting everybody to unite and kind of believe.
So that's one thing that I had on the show like a few months ago with Steve Graham, Renegade, Cross One, Raul Datu, and Amjad. What does a governing body look like? And that's one of the things that attracted me to the AAU, is like, well, if it works here, maybe we could transfer it to what we do. You know what I'm saying? But we have to show that the concept is proven, right? And this is a perfect example of how to prove the concept. Because even though AAU is like backed up, by like this governing body that's been happening for a long time, ultimately what I'm seeing behind the scenes is it's really just y'all or us. It's really the scene that's in charge, right? Whoever wants to like get down. It's not just like isolated to a few people. It's like, look, there's so many people that, like I said, I counted all the people that are down, and these are from different camps, right? From the same area, but yet working together. I think that's dope. Like, instead of going for the old, like, oh, you're from a different crew, I'll spell you. Like,
I mean, to be real, to touch base on that, like, some scenes, they have their problems, even like studio rivalries, business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like,
no, yeah, I see it.
At the end of the day, like, when I was talking to every single person on calls, I was just like, look, I understand that. You just got to put that aside. It's not about your beef. It's about the kids. You know,
Dude,
in basketball, you see coaches who don't like each other, but they got their teams. They just ball out. You know, so that's the same thing that can happen in breaking. Like just put all that stuff aside. Let's just build something for the kids. You know, at this
yeah, my philosophy always was like, and this is just like I was looked at as crazy 20 years ago. I was always about community over my crew, and people used to get mad at that. But I'm like, if there's no community, where are we gonna dance? Like,
Mhm.
who are we gonna dance against if it's just us? Like, no, the community has to be thriving for us to get good, right? Exactly, kind of like what Steve Graham is like. He's like, look, America is good, but we need to have them battle these other kids to get good, to get on their level. Because if we're just battling each other and staying here, we don't know, right? We will not grow. Like, we need the challenge. We need to get smoked. And I believe in that. I'm not afraid to get smoked. Like, that's how I get good, right? Like, I think we all believe, like, we don't want to be the big fish in like a little pond. You know what I'm saying? We want to we want to expand. So I think, having this is a step to there for sure. Because yeah, Russia, China, Japan, they killers. Like, like they're killers. Like Japan is established already. Like they already have a system in place. Shout out to Wu Tang and
Yep.
Osaka, man. Like that guy mentored freaking Shiga Kicks, Jasmine, Annie, like Ayani, like all from like kind of one dude. You know what I'm saying? And like look what he has, right? So we should be able to have that for sure. You know what I mean?
and
Yeah.
that's something that the AU will provide. Just those resources for us to actually know how to coach correctly, and also like
Okay, that's it.
a lot of the stuff that we do with breaking, like we were never taught how to teach. We just kind of saw what worked, right? We got professional people who are coaching sports that are proven in a
Yeah,
professional level.
yeah.
Even though they're not going to teach us how to coach their sport, but it's just the mindset that goes into
Right.
it. Is
I
that
think that's a new thing too. Like I think this new and I was talking earlier on my live was like this is a new generation that I trust versus like guys close to my age like are very toxic and this is a Gen Z has a good way of just calling us out and what they need. And I feel like this is something that we're you guys are the new elders. And I like what I'm seeing because it's like instead of just like let's smoke 5 blunts outside, like now it's like now it's like look, watch your diet, stretch, physical therapy, all these things that I know it's like it's not as raw, but myself turning 50 this year. This is what keeps me, healthy. This
Yep.
is what keeps me healthy. This is where I can still like backflip and all that type of stuff because I'm not just like time to drink myself away and smoke a blunt before the finals. Like it's dead. That's dead. These new kids is serious. You know what I mean? They want to
Yeah.
kill it,
Nah.
right? And they whatever they do after is whatever. But that's the philosophy. All these the 18-year-olds, they're all stretching. They're all like using bands. They're all like really like going hard, and I'm proud of them for that. And I want us to be examples to them. Like, yeah, we're not about that life no more. You know what I mean? We're like about it being fun but yet serious. So I commend you guys, you gentlemen, for like being those leaders. You know what I'm saying?
That's part. A lot of the youth now have what a lot of elders didn't have. They have a lot of role models with do as I say, not as I do or did. So like we tell them like, nah, put on your knee pads. Like I don't care. You trust me. If I can be 15 again, I'm putting on all my knee pads and elbow pads every practice. I will put those on. Ask any elder like, yo, I'm putting my knee pads on. But like, yeah,
Not me, son.
Well, shout out to Art in Switzerland because he has that jacket. It's all hidden in the jacket and still fashion. You know what I mean? Like,
find a way,
there's
find a way.
gear now that it's like you don't know there's an elbow pad in there. You know what I'm saying?
We're
Like,
getting smart.
yeah, and there you go. I'm still like, oh, that looks kind of fly. Still, like that's still kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like super corny or anything. Like, you look like thick knee pads like this. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's helping the industry as well, right? It's helping our industry like think like ingenuity and fashionable at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they have a lot of the youth have more of a guidance now. A lot of them are guided by people that are like, no, like you should take care of yourself. Like before we start, we're gonna warm up and stretch. I didn't have a warm up and a stretch when I got to practice. It could be midwinter. I take my coat off and I'm doing air flares like straight up, And
Right. Right.
All the teachers, it's like even though you don't really think about it, but all of the studios that are from breakers that come from the culture, they're warming the kids up, and that's
Hmm.
structure, if you think about it. They're stretching them out. They're
Hmm.
like going over their technique. They're like sitting down with them afterwards to talk about like, yo, what's bothering you today? Like a lot of that goes a long way that a lot of us didn't have.
Right.
So the youth is already in a better place that we were because we are able to hand that over, and having structure like this hands them an even better paved road for the next gen. Because this is just a cycle. It's going to be theirs at some point. So we have, like you said, we have a chance to give something that's never been given to us before that we know it's like it's just going to be so beneficial in so many aspects for breaking. Like, the AAU people come to us like a lot of the questions, almost all the questions is about competition, judging systems, leagues. And it's like, I'm like, do you have questions that have depth to like what our approach and vision is? Because it's beyond just competition. There's a lot more. Like we have the vision and the focus to like mental health and nutrition and body recovery. Like those are things that like any sport with a well organized institution or association, they have those things in place, and we want those too. But we can't jump and be like, yeah, guys, join this and make sure everyone's doing therapy. Like we're gonna get no one, So let's just get everyone together first. Let them know that we have a bigger vision in mind, and we'll build this together. Because all the leaders, I think we all want the same thing. We just want breaking to be better than it was for us, and we want everyone who's involved to just be better people through breaking.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, now that's more valid than anything else right now.
So there's just a lot more. There's so many layers to what we're doing. AAU helped us be, more legitimate because it is a big brand that a lot of
Mhm.
people, oh, we know, oh, breaking is an AAU. Like breaking has just been breaking this whole time. Like why did it have to be behind like a name? But it helps people kind of like get into trust.
Right.
So it's given us that platform to do so many things, so many more things than just get kids evaluated to battle. Like there's so many layers to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I like what you said too, as far as that, because and just kind of circling back to like kind of like um when we go to these events and it's like 5 hours, it's because of the prelims, right? Just to circle back. And now that there's a kind of segments, at least there's some type of structure that doesn't you don't have to be at an event for 5 hour prelims, and then what I mean, like there's still, it could still be that, but not like, but if within your own, I guess, ranking, that's what will make everything proceed faster, as far as just like, because really it's like a good event's like 3 or 4 hours, really. Like when
Mhm.
it's like 12 hours, it's like, oh my gosh, like
I,
why
I
are we
was
still
I
here?
was thinking about that because there's some events that have to be long, but what
Mhm.
helps it being long is if there's kind of like I would say an organized mess. If like, okay, I'm doing the Bonnie and Clyde, but that's not till 5 p.m. But there's other things going on at 11. There's people complain like, yo, that event went 10 hours. Yeah, but like your part was only 3 if you really look at it. So like you have yourself organized, and also to the events, if you're organized, you let people know what categories you're doing. This is your time frame. Come here for that. Go on a lunch break for 2-3 hours. So like
Mhm.
the section of what we're doing, since it's only focused on just AAU breaking, we can get it done in an hour or 2 or 3. But if
Right.
you at an event like freestyle session, they're trying to do so many things. That's impossible to be done in 2-3 hours. Impossible. That's not. So it's like, do we cut the event short and then it's like it's only caters to a really small group of people, or do we just get really organized to where like our AAU members, let's say we're doing this at a freestyle session, they know 12 to 1 is your
That's kind of cool, right?
go on lunch break,
Yeah.
come back 5 to
Yeah.
7, and then your event was a total of 3 hours in the middle of this 11
Right.
hours. So it's
Right.
like, I don't want to go at events that are a long time. It's just like organize yourselves a little bit. So like if you are like, yo, the time that you spent in that venue should be like 3 to 4 hours. But we did
Right.
so much for the community and so many other like categories. That's the reason why it's a long day. But
Yeah.
like we were, thinking about the length of the time per the event, and also like the experience of everyone who's coming in, like the grandpas and grandmas that are next.
Mhm.
Like we want to get it to where it's accommodating to everyone. Will we get this right now? Probably not. But if it's an intention of ours, like when you want to get a move, you get it. So like if we want to do something like this, we're gonna figure out how to get it done, because it's like
Right.
getting back to those who support.
Yeah.
So the events should be short, but I don't think that the events that are trying to offer a lot should like cut their times down. They should just organize it to where it's accommodating to everyone.
Yeah, I like that. I mean that's the new thing that we have to. That's a new thing that this generation, I hope, does, which is like no b-boy time. B-boy time is on time. Like that's a new thing. Like b-boy time is on time, not late, right? Like you didn't sign up two bet, right, or whatever, right? Let's keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
I
Shout
mean,
out
I
to
mean,
Felix from Break Connect too. You know I'm about that life.
to
Yeah.
piggyback off that with the long jams and following the schedule, I think where most promoters lacked on was actually sticking to their schedule, is
Mm,
waiting for people to come.
yeah,
So they
forget
would
that.
me, even at the Culture Force, I'm like, if I'm starting prelims an hour after the door opens, it's starting. If you're late, hey, you still pay to get in. It's no loss for me. That's what you get. You know what I'm saying?
That's on y'all. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I felt. I mean, I'm not trying to be like stingy or anything, but I'm just like, hey man,
But that's the
you
way it
arrived
should be.
3 hours.
If you're gonna go to a sporting game and you bought a ticket, you're gonna get there early, and that game's gonna start. But I would say, like, being as involved as I've been with the events in the background over the years, like the last 10 years, little by little, the breakers have been a lot better on b-boy time. Like the ones that are serious about what they do, they're there. As you usually you don't see the ones that don't mess around and not be there on time. Like if
Yeah.
you really look at it now, like, so it's like it's been something that a lot of the promoters all around the world and country that have been like, yo, if you're late, we're going on without you. I think a lot of the ones that are important that matter, they learned their lesson once or twice, probably flew somewhere and it started without them. Like, yo, your status isn't gonna like make my whole event and like everyone's hair upset for you. So next time just be on time. So I think throughout the last couple of years, I think it's been a thing where gradually the breakers are starting to like really respect that, and it's helping the promoters out and the organizers kind of like have a chance to have their event be good, but it's not to all organizers and all promoters. You can have everyone there. I've seen it where everyone's there and it's just like, yo, we're starting in 10 minutes, and an hour later for no reason now they're starting. I'm like, well, what happened? So like it takes time. It takes time. But I think that the breakers and the b-boy time is not as bad as it once was. So I'll just say that.
Well, and that's again. I think we're starting to evolve, and that's what I mean. That's why I wanted you guys on here, because it's like, instead of being like, because there's pushback and everything. But the thing is, like, why I even do the show is just like, let's create communication. Let's get people involved, and then we could talk it out. Because the truth of the matter is, if we keep just talking and not doing anything, and like instead, like I like the fact you're like, let's just go. It's going to be a work in progress, and that's okay. Like for me, I think that's good. I think we should just go. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like, I mean, we're not just going to end like next year. We're going to keep going and like you said, we're going to take the data and then see what worked, see what didn't work, drop what didn't work, and improve on what worked. Like I think that's fair enough, instead of just like, oh, it's not like this, it's not wrong, blah blah blah. That talk. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's we're gonna continue this conversation, but I want to open up to the people in the chat. If anybody has any questions for Aeronetics, Sweet Lou, or Kid Glide and the AAU, go ahead and ask it now. I ask this question. So after these qualifiers are done, right? What's the next step?
So, like you showed the graphic earlier with all the
Mhm.
leagues.
I'll bring
So
it up again. Yeah.
every area has their own league. We actually, that's not an updated flyer, but we have 14 leagues.
Okay. Oh, okay. Word.
So we haven't created the updated one, but we have more schools involved as well for league. Like even say yourself, we had the 2 schools in NorCal, and then now you're affiliated, and then hopefully we get more, right? But
Mhm.
we just have to start. So those people who are there, they're throwing the qualifiers. But how the structure works is you have to throw 3 events per league, and these league events are ranking events.
Okay.
Okay, so from there you're gonna go to a regional, right? So the winner of each league, the point leader in each league, will get an automatic spot at regionals. And if you get a certain amount of points, I think it's 50 points from those 3 events, then you can go do a last chance at regionals. So you still have the opportunity to go, but for the person who got the most points, you get the spot.
Okay.
So then
What's
region.
when would the regionals be? I guess like when and where would the
So
regionals be?
we have the West regionals that's gonna happen on May 18th, Sunday, May
Okay.
18th in Las Vegas. And
Okay.
it's at an AAU event. So there's actually AAU basketball, AAU
Oh, word.
volleyball, and
Oh,
AAU.
joy. That's dope.
So we're one of 3 sports there at the Las Vegas Convention Center, right? And
So,
then, I guess this is the first time we announced it publicly because we haven't really.
oh shit, there you go. There you go. Ta-da! Smash! Yes, right on the
Hey, the
show. Right on
trade.
the show. Yo, that's no to me that's dope because like then the other sports gets to see this shit.
Yeah.
They get to see the battles, and I'm sure like for the first, a lot of them is going to be the first time live, and that's the best. The best thing to see breaking is live, not on YouTube. It's live, right? So
Mhm.
you get to feel the energy and all that type of stuff. So that's dope. Hell yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, just
Hell
just
yeah.
just real
That's
quick,
why
just from what
we're
you're saying, I'm sorry, Ernetic, that just brought me to like it made me visualize that moment. You know, where a lot of athletes will be in the audience that might be able to relate to breaking because it's on an AAU space. So it's like, oh, I might want to do that. You know, all the little baseball and basketball players and tennis players will see other athletes that are being creative doing something in the same platform that they're on. That this
Yeah.
benefits the local programs, you know. But I never
100.
like
Yo,
when I was in wrestling, I never saw a breaker as like a legit like the same wrestling was. Now it's like, wait a second, they have an AAU breaking like jacket on our coach, you know, when we get there. But
Yeah.
you
That's
said what
dope.
you just said, it made me think about when that moment happens because it hasn't happened. We haven't had a regional.
Nah. I mean, I feel like that made me hype right there. Like the other sports gets to watch this. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna be like,
Yo,
yo, man, it's crazy. That's dope.
too real quick because like let's just say I went to go watch my big brother in the basketball tournament. I'm not a basketball player, but maybe I like to dance. So now I went there to go watch my big brother Billy, and then damn, there's breaking too. Now I want to be breaking. Hey, mom, dad, like I want to do that. I'm
Right.
not good at basketball, but can I do that? You know. So
Yeah.
now we're getting eyes for like more people to join. You get what I mean? So
Hell yeah.
I think that's something that I hope a lot of people see as well. This isn't just about students you already have, but you can also get more students. It's going to improve your program. And then now that we have a national structure, it's just going to bring in more eyes, you know. And this is the first year. So, like I said, it
Yeah.
might be a road, but this is the first year. And look at what we're doing. Look at the traction we're getting. Look at the speed we're going. And so far, you know.
Yeah. So that's the West
Yeah.
Coast Regionals, May 18th in Las Vegas. All right. So how about the East Coast? Is that can we announce that at all, or can we give a
So
hint? Maybe a hint?
Yeah,
Time frame?
we can announce it. I mean, it's still not locked in yet, but
Okay.
it's hard because a lot of the other cities are spread out. So
Mm.
there's New York, there's Minnesota, there's Atlanta, there's Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah,
They're like not really in regions.
yeah.
Whereas
Right.
the West, we have a lot of West leagues, like I
Yeah,
think 6 or 7 leagues in the West alone. So we
yeah.
can create a regional within that.
Vegas got like 5 schools already, so it's like,
Um, so we're gonna do like a super regional uh,
okay.
the weekend probably before the Junior Olympics. So that
Oh.
way, for all,
Okay.
for all
Okay.
those cities that are spread out, they're already gonna be in Texas for the Junior Olympics, and they could do the regionals there. That way, it would kind of eliminate a travel for families to go
Okay.
to regional and then go to Olympics when they're already there. So we do it right before. It could be, um, I I guess kind of like Red Bull is that last chance qualifier, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's, I guess it's kind of similar to that to get into the Junior Olympics.
And when and where is the Junior Olympics?
The Junior Olympics is, I believe, July 21st through 25th in
Mhm.
Houston, Texas.
Oh, it's in
Actually,
Houston.
it's
Okay, that's it.
actually July 21st through August 6th. It's
Okay.
2 weeks long, but the breaking portion is happening the first 4 day, 3 to 4 days.
Word. Okay. I'm looking at the. Let me bring that up real quick. Okay. Crazy. That's dope though. So Houston, Texas. All right.
Yeah, Houston,
Okay.
Texas.
So I was like, is it in freaking like Buenos Aires again? Like, there you go. Okay. Cool. Boom. Brought that up. So that's where we're looking at, right? So,
Yep,
all
2020.
right.
3rd to August 2nd. There we go.
Crazy. Dope. Okay. So a week before this will be the
Like the 21st or something, you know, like right
word.
before it, we'll have our regional event for all the other cities to try to qualify for Junior Olympics.
Oh, hell yeah. Damn, that's exciting, man. That's exciting, dude. Especially like, again, like this is like Houston's already a spot for breaking. So like just to kind of come in and watch and like, watch the young ones get down. And I hope the locals come out and just support, what I mean? I'm sure because a lot of them teach schools anyway. So it's like they want and they're probably part of the league anyway. They're probably part of the AAU anyway. So yeah, so as far as communicating to the other regions, how smooth has that been? Like, has it been pretty smooth for the most part? Are people just jumping in and
Um, as we were moving, I feel like more people were wanting to jump in, and they jumped in a little late, but we're still trying to include them some way. But things are already moving, So I think next year we'll have more involvement, and we're gonna start sooner next year because this we just started literally last month, like exactly a month ago.
yeah,
We just like, kept it pushing.
right?
Um, but yeah, I feel like the more people who are involved, the more we can do because it's a numbers game too, and AAU is based on memberships. So if we want more support from the AAU, we bring in more members, and then we just kind of show and prove. Like this year's like our show and prove year,
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, you guys want to add anything else to that?
No, I think you hit it. Communication it's been cool. It's been kind of small to the reach we want to have, But again, it's like the reach we want to have is take time, meaning more people to communicate with, and it's stuff too. Like we'll have conversations with people that'll ask questions that they didn't know, and I'm like, okay, we need to be better at how we inform. So it's on that. But I think for the team that we have and the leaders we have, the communication is great. We have our group chats. Everyone reaches out to us whenever they have a question or a suggestion or an idea or recommendations. So I think with the medium sized group that we have of medium, because it's small, but it's not small because our community is small compared to other sports. But to us, it's to me, it's the world, so it's big. But I want to leave a lot of room for growth when I talk about like our members, So like I think the communication has been great. And even I'll just give you one example. When we started talking to everyone, we're like, we don't have it all figured out. All right. Like if you guys are down for the ride, like here's the vision we have, like we really want to like unite everyone. You bring unity so we can do things in numbers, we can create more. Like we might not have all the answers. And as we go along, things might change around a little bit, So ideally we wanted to do 4 regionals like other sports, and when everything came down, we're like, yo, we have one region that has a lot of schools really close to one another, so it just makes sense for them. But this is kind of what we have in mind for that one. We could go like this. It's just like it was like smooth to communicate that as it came, and it was not like it came out of a surprise. Like we said, like this is our vision, but it might not happen. Like we probably not going to unite the entire country all in 1 year, in just a month. So on that end, I think the communication has been pretty good. I want us to find the way to communicate all the details on a broader spectrum like out, but even to that we're learning. Like
I mean, that's something I could kind of provide though too. Like we could do a monthly check-in. We could talk about the winners, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because I think that's one thing that we still aren't privy to as far as in the breaking community. We're not creating constant like to do a podcast is hard, but for instance, if I have something like check in every month on this, like the progress of who won this, won that, blah 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 blah. Because here's the thing I'm seeing most of the problem with the breaking community is that we don't read, but we'll damn sure react to a video. Like so, like so. I think that's one thing I want to like donate my time because I think this is important, and that way the kids like if I could do like even since there's a team, if we can even do and this is real time, brainstorming, so you guys can watch, all the audience can watch. If you guys have an editing team, whoever has a winner, make a short video. I'll talk about the winner, blah 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 of that region, da 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 da, A, B, and C. So that way at least the kids could feel like, oh, I'm on this show, da 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 da, or I'm featured on the trades or whatever channel. Because I think that's one thing that, like I said, even with the WDSF and the Olympics, there was texts, there were groups, but no one knew about it because we don't read. But if there was something where there was like a video being made every week or every month, I think more of the community would have been involved because it's like, oh, there's a video, right?
For sure.
Like,
and from that, those are things that we learn, And in something like right now, this happened live. Everyone's watching it. This wasn't rehearsed in any way. As we come together, more people come and want to support from how they can. So we get to do more stuff, So we've had meetings with people like, yo, I'm not going to enter this year, but I have a background in this, and I want to provide that for you guys. So it's just like, oh, we're becoming more and more powerful on a bigger vision or mission, because people like you have something to help that we are not like versed in, that could be very helpful. So we're getting these type of like reaching hands, that people that want to give us support, and it's not only just about bringing in a member. It could be something like what you're saying to help us inform. People might feel more more I guess open or informed to be a part of something and feel more like comfortable joining it. So we appreciate that. That's something that we should definitely talk about. We could use all the help that we can get.
Real quick, let's go to the chat. Elobo 360, is there no affiliated school in your area? Can a person register as a non-athlete and put on events in their area? So
Area
can there be an
answer?
AAU member that's non-athlete and throw an event?
If you are under our club, you are able to run an event, but it won't follow this national league.
Say that again? One more time.
If you are a non-athlete under our YBC club, under AAU, the organization, you can throw events and we can license it for you, but these events won't be part of the national league just because we're already moving. So it's a little too late.
I mean, like if they would have done it like earlier or whatever.
Earlier, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then also you can also set up your clubs as well. Now that breaking is on here, you can set up your own club to throw events in your own city. It just won't fall under the national league into the Junior Olympics.
Okay. So I guess that's the next question too. Is what happens after the Junior Olympics? Like what? Like how do we continue? Like like you guys mentioned the Youth Olympics next year. Like we can still build clubs and still do all that type of stuff.
Yeah. So the Junior Olympics it ends in August, right? The AAU year ends on August 31st, and then membership renew on September 1st. So it's kind of like a school year. That's how they work.
Oh, okay, I see.
So we kind of got into it late. That's why like we have 6 months.
So I got to pay my money again in September. Oh, good.
Like even a 2-year, I'm sure you bought. I think you bought a 2-year, no, Profowon?
No, I was cheating.
I'm giving you guys 1 year, and if it ain't done, I'm out. That's what we
I
did.
didn't know. I thought it was till September. See what I'm saying? I was just down. Like, I'll just pay it right now. I'll just pay it right.
So AAU, they have events going on year long.
Right.
Memberships go on. I mean, to be an AAU member is like $22. It's really
I mean,
you have insurance, you have access to do.
That I mean, that was pretty interesting. I think that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? That's kind of cool. Right?
You don't have to just do breaking. You're able to go and compete in other sports with this membership. You don't have to just but there's events like we got approached by a guy who kind of runs a lot of the AAU stuff nationally, but he runs stuff in New York. He has something called the Times Square Takeover.
Oh, okay.
Down Times Square, and they have they have basketball, they have I think taekwondo, they have gymnastics, volleyball, something, and they're gonna have breaking now too. So they shut down Square and they have like a whole AAU festival going on, right?
Word.
To look forward to in September. So that's another thing that we could do, right?
Okay.
Obviously, YBC is still happening.
Right.
We're gonna.
So and then that's still within freestyle session as well, right? Like that's still going on. Okay, good.
Session week, so it's gonna be one long weekend. We're still gonna have the camp, run the conference, and have the competition. We're still gonna have qualifiers and stuff. That will still that will be open level because it's still attracting like, I guess the elite level kids.
Right.
We are gonna most likely require everyone to be AAU members.
Okay.
For that, so then that's gonna bring a little more eyes to our membership, right?
Right.
Then we're just gonna have to start the league a little sooner than February.
That's dope. Shoot, I'm down. I'm gonna get my kids. I'm working on it right now as we speak. You know what I mean? Just like, all right. So, and that was the question. I was like, what do we do after August? Like, I'll pay again, but I'm just saying, like, all right, cool. So,
we got
those who are interested. So that's when you're gonna probably see maybe an influx, right? You might see more influx of members and.
For sure.
And stuff like that.
If you know too, AAU is a very big organization. They're doing more than just competitive things. They have a lot of programs and initiatives going on. So we're trying. Well, we're not trying. We're learning how to implement breaking into all these other areas, to where it's not just about a competitive circuit. We want to do beyond just competitive stuff. So as we get the train kind of rolling a little bit smoother, we can start focusing on how to expand programs and initiatives for others to kind of lead their ways in their cities or in their states for these programs that can benefit their local communities and their local programs and so on.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more from the chat. Basic Basia Koopa says agreed. Access to information is important. We're talking about what we were talking about earlier, like more just like, just interactive with because obviously more people are watching this, as like you said, more people went on the train just because it's in motion. I feel like this constant conversation with the community will help shape it a little bit more, and we could basically just play with a lot of concepts and ideas and more, and try to implement them or not or whatever. El Lobo, oh yeah, and he says continuous bridges to general audiences. All right, cool. Yeah, I think that's something that's very much needed. Lobo says, "Is it required to have AAU judges at events, or does the person throwing the event pick their own judges?" These are
As of
good questions to have
That's,
that to know
it's a
now.
really good question. As of right now, we're being a little bit more flexible because, again, we are at a start. So, being that we are working with community leaders, we're also putting trust in them that they will bring in the right people to do this. And even when they do their judges, it's brought to the table for all of us to discuss who they are. So it's not just a random person. There's some requirements. It's like we don't have judges from their own leagues judging if they have relationship with any of the members that are going to compete. So we make it fair on that way. Ideally, and soon we want to make it to where everyone is under the AAU membership, so they all have their qualification. We do want to create, curriculums and all that, so everyone it's like on par on every single aspect of it all. We can't get it all now, but right now it's a little bit more flexible for the local jams. But for regionals and JO, no, it's going to be requirement for them to have AAU memberships and to be briefed by us.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I got my non-member. Like, let me get it out of the way. Like, instead of waiting.
I remember, Profo, like you and I spoke, and then you was like, Luke, can you give me a little bit more insight on it? And one thing that stood out from you was like, oh, so I can get in here and help maybe like the coach's perspective on how we can kind of help the youth out. And I was like, mind blown. Like, okay, you already thought of a way that you can be of impact in ways that we're not doing right now. I'm like, it can be that big. It can be that big of a collective. So I was like, and then when Aaron was like, yeah, Profo got his thing done, I was like, yo, that was cool. He said he was when he did it. It was just like,
Yeah. No. And then J Rock was like, "You're down? All right, cool, dope." I'm like, okay. What does that mean? I was like, "What does that mean? What does that mean? Huh?" I was like, and I'm full in, I'm in communication with everyone. So it's like, and I have like, yo, I'm going on. I'm interviewing them. If you got any questions, ask now, man. Like, I got them like all together and stuff. All right. Did I? Okay. So, okay. Before we're about to sign out soon. Um, Josh from B-Boy Network says, "Clap hands." It's
happy
his birthday today.
Josh.
Yeah, it's Josh's birthday today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You know what I'm saying? A pillar of the community.
Big time.
So again, before we sign out, I just want to show this real quick on Break Connect this weekend. Look how many events is going on there. Let me go back.
If you go to organizations and click AAU breaking, you'll probably see all the AAU events.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that real quick. Where's the AAU?
Look at all these boards. Shout out to Break Connect, man.
I know. Yeah.
growth is
Yeah. Shout out to Felix. There's a youth breaking chance. Speedway Network. There's my crew. There you go. Is it way down here?
Right
There
there.
it is.
There it is. Boom. Okay.
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah. Look at that. Boom. And I'm just saying, this is this weekend. Salt Lake City, Minnesota, Austin, NorCal. That's just this weekend right here.
More
Boom.
events happening everywhere,
Boom. Shout out to Boogie B. Shout out to Crumbs. Shout out to J Rock and Precise. That's dope. Within a month? Y'all did this within a month?
I mean, it's another example. We could all be existing, doing something together, and it doesn't take away from what we're doing.
Nah, I don't.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be able to do this without the other schools, man. Because we had that meeting, we asked them if they were down. They were all with it, and then we had no other choice but to go forward. So shout outs to all the breaking programs that believe in what we're doing, that are making it happen and doing the hard work. Because teaching kids, the youth, is not easy.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Facts.
Trust me, man. I already know. So I was like, yo, shout out to all y'all, man, for putting, you know what I mean? Like, because I taught at Glides, I taught at Glide School like 5 years ago, and that was really fun. And the fact that, just like I said, like, you produce a lot of dope b boys and b girls just representing out there. And I was, when I watched B Boy Network, it's like a lot of your students out there are killing it. And I'm like, you know what I mean? So I was just like, yo, this is dope. And the fact that I was like, oh, all y'all working together. I was like, okay, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, real quick too, before we sign out, where is breaking listed on AAU website? I don't see it under dance category or anywhere else.
So breaking is under AAU dance.
Is it okay? So breaking is under AAU dance. That was like what I pulled up before was the AAU website, right? Or no?
YBC.
Oh, that's the YBC website.
Oh, that was the YBC. Okay.
As they're still updating their site, especially with the AAU dance portion, and breaking's going to be part of the handbook. So just look out for that.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we're about to wrap it up. We're about an hour and 16 in. Does anyone have anything to say before we wrap it up?
I'll say it, but there's a question on there I would like to get to.
Okay. All right. Which one?
Trevor.
Okay. I'll bring it up.
We don't leave anyone out.
Okay.
Kickback in our community.
I'm in Utah, and there seems to be kickback in our community. It is based on sport specific people. We saw the video from Gravity. Is it because the word Olympics? I see nothing but benefit.
No, like Aeronetic mentioned it earlier. There's been kickback from a lot of communities. There's tension in a lot of areas. Some jumped on board immediately. Some did not. Here, I think from our conversations, they want to see it and see if it's something that's of benefit. Not everyone is going to just trust it and jump on board. I don't think it has to do with the word Olympics. And at the same time, I think everything plays a part. Anything that creates more skepticism will make someone second guess involving themselves into something that's really new and that's as broad as this is really big. Gravity's video did influence a lot of people to reach out and be informed, including himself. Like, we spoke with Gravity and became informed on how to use our platforms and our voices in a way where it's of support and education. So that all might have played a role, but again, it's just something to see what happens in the long term when everyone knows what we're doing and how we can work together. So I hope that answers your question. There's a lot of areas that have tension or kickback that are not in support.
I mean, we could still form our own leagues. Like, I don't see a problem. Like, there could be as many, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
I think
I'm still
we're
starting my
learning,
event.
we're learning that we can all do our own thing.
100.
What someone is doing is not affecting us, and if we are able to thumb one over the other up and have conversations, I think if anything, we can help the entire landscape of what we do develop.
Yeah, I mean, just for that's the breaking mentality. The breaking mentality is very based on scarcity, which is a problem, right? Because it's like, you don't think I don't want 20 million b-boy b-girl podcasts out there? There's only like 10. Like, there should be like at least 100, because like the more that there is, the better people are going to be informed versus just
you're thinking about the people and not yourself. So you're not afraid of more people doing what you do.
Nah, I'm not afraid of competition because it benefits all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, right? In the end of the day, you find your cup of tea anyway, right? Like, that's the whole point. Like, if there's only limited to 2 things, we're going to always scrap. But then if there's like so many choices, you get to find your tribe on top of that. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be like, I'm a weirdo breaker that likes, pink hair, and I only want to go to that event. That's cool. But what's going to stop you to go to this event and just watch? Like, I'll go, like, I'm not a power move guy, but I'll watch a power move battle. Like, like, why not? Like, I don't do what they do, but shoot, I want to watch it. Like, why would I want to watch that? That sounds fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take away from me.
Yeah. A lot of people in our scene, they still, they feel, they don't, share things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's kind of new. Like, a lot more people are doing that. But I remember back in our generation, we were not sharing. This is mine. You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, it took me a while, but I started, the only way my students would get better if they battle other kids. The only way USA get better, right? I'm watching all these other countries. I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, but how are we going to get better is if we all come together. And that's what we're trying to do, If we all use our resources, because everybody's getting stuff, everybody's making things happen. Like, a lot of people are killing it right now. But if we all came together, just like what we're doing, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's like it's so appealing. You're like, oh snap, this is amazing. I'm yo, I wake up every day. I'm like, this is amazing. You know, like we're getting this together, you know? And it's not just me, it's Era, it's Sweet, it's everybody that's a part of the community. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to be involved and that's amazing, man. I I appreciate you letting us come here and share what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
this is
important.
amazing. Because
Yeah, it's
what you're
important
doing,
to
you're killing
share,
it
like,
too,
because
man.
like that's the whole thing. Because like we don't, you know, this is the thing. The biggest challenge of b boys is that we communicate through our physical. So communicating through this, we're not the best at. We communicate through our bodies, right? So, you know, that's why I feel like there's like, you know, no, like that's why I was like, well, I noticed when I put an essay out, no one reads it. When I put a video out, everyone has something to say. So I'm like, well, then like let me put this to use and have you guys on and talk about it. You know, and have some visuals with it. And I will be making a video of just like, you know, like highlights and a reel of what like the takes you guys made. Because
That's
I
how
know that's what's gonna talk.
it's true. It's
Huh?
a new generation. That's how word get out.
I
So
mean, there's a reason why TikTok's successful. It's not because they're reading. Like,
it's true.
and no, they're reading our words while we're speaking it, but it's not like they're just reading, though. You know what I'm saying? All right. Real quick, I'm gonna go to these two comments, and we'll call it a day. Mike Choose says, "Thanks to you guys for getting this together. The kids need this, and breaking has evolved to meet the kids' needs. I support you guys 100%. Dad crew. You see that, dad crew." All right. Trevor says, thanks. The responses we've gotten have been vague. As a parent, we see the benefits of this supporting the future breaker. So I'm grateful for this league and the education my girl Lokita will get. There you go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're pushing forward. We're pushing forward.
Our messages are open. If you guys know, like I'm really good at responding. So parents, I know a lot of you guys. So you have questions. My messages are open, and we can answer if you're still confused. But at the end of the day, this is for you. This is for your child. This is for breaking. And we just appreciate everyone's support and believing it because as we grow, we want to provide more opportunity and resources. Hopefully, get into colleges, provide scholarships,
There you go.
turn it to a
There
career
you go.
one day. There's a
Yep.
lot of things that are in the works, but we have to start somewhere, and we have to start the standard now. Make sure we're structured so that in 3 to 5 years, 10 years, hopefully not that long, but in 3 to 5 years, we're gonna be there. So we already have AAU backing us to legitimize us as a sport, and people get weirded out by the word sport, but at the end of the day, we are a sport now. That's what break is turning into, and we still have the culture side of things, and now we have our sports side of things, and it's just how we're gonna grow. Stuff like this podcast, storytelling, sharing your story, and I think that's what breakers really lack.
Mhm. There you go.
A
And you
lot of
can follow him on Instagram at Aeronetic. That was his last words of the show. See, you just segued
All
into that. That was
questions,
smooth.
send it there. Send all the questions to that one.
Yeah,
Right?
send all the questions to Aeronetic at Instagram right there.
Yo, he'll hit you up right away. This guy, I don't know how he has the time, but he will.
glide, yeah.
Well, okay, let's go to Glide. Any words before we wrap it up?
Nah, man, I'm just grateful for the journey, man. That's it. I've always learned to plan ahead. I started KPLs 10 years ago. I started my Dynamic Kids program then, and now the majority of those kids are in the crew. Like Profo said, they're killing it. So if you really want to make change, you really want to make a difference, you got to be patient and put in the work and be consistent. That's the only thing that separates anybody from anybody, consistency. And that's it, man. Just this community is amazing. It has its bad stuff, it has its great stuff, but as long as you continue to add, yo,
That's
tell
what's
you, it's
up.
beautiful.
And you can follow him on Instagram at Kid Glide.
You can ask questions there, too.
KIDGLYDE. What's that?
I said, you can send him more of the
Yeah.
questions to him too.
And Sweet
I'll forward them to Lou.
and Sweet Lou, what do you guys say?
I'll
wrap
just
it
say, one of our big goals, we all really owe a lot to breaking. And one thing that we're trying to do is bring the community together, you know, and if you're skeptical, cool, just give us a chance, you know, hear us out, see what we're doing. A big thing that happens within breaking, people have a good idea, they're about to take off, and people within the community itself shoots it down before it even gets a chance to fly. You know, so like not just to ours, like it's not just to give us a chance, you know, if you're skeptical, just keep that kind of like talk to us before you shoot it down. And the same thing for anyone who's doing anything around your way. Like the picture is bigger than just breaking and competitiveness. Like it's way bigger than that. So, you know, just give us a chance. We want to bring people together for a lot of big initiatives, and we just hope everyone's patient and supports, you know, not just us, but any other program that's out there. Anyone trying to do something, like if you ain't about it, just don't shoot it down. Just support it from afar, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel that. It also builds character when people criticize, and you can pass that, builds character.
And then
All right.
and that increase your character as you grow more out of that, you know.
For sure.
And that's breaking, man. We shoot everything down.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna build this new B-man thing. Like save that for the kids. We're gonna work together.
Yeah.
We already planned our dues as far as that. Let's keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Build.
This has been a great show, guys. Thank you so much for being on. Stay on when I sign out. I'm gonna talk to you guys behind stage real quick. But if you want to follow me, if you like the content right here, again, if you haven't subscribed, 89% of you are watching the content but not subscribed. Stop lurking. Press the subscribe button. Press the notifications if you like this. And you can follow me on Instagram at PROFO_FLGZ. This has been The Trades, the AAU Breaking League. Peace. And we are out of here, guys. All right. See you
Peace.
later. Yeah,
Thank you.
stay on, guys. Stay on. Stay on.